Hey, I got another ride for you today. And this is one of Colorado's unknown areas. And it is the Gunnison River Canyon. And it looks like the Grand Canyon. It's an incredible little trip. It's mostly all dirt. There's almost no access. I don't think there is any access to it via asphalt. And the thing that's kind of neat about it is that this kind of runs right out in my backyard. So we're going to go out and take a look at some of the spectacular views today. And I am wearing a nice riding jersey today. It is lightweight because it is hot. It's been over 100 degrees here. It's funny because I just got some comments this morning from one of my viewers who's in Florida and tells me the heat index is 109 down there. Ugh. Greg, you are all that is man. Hey, keep riding. Come along with me. Let's check out a really cool spot that's pretty much unheard of. One more thing I forgot to tell you folks about. I got hats and shirts made. So if you live for moto, let me get the light right. I've got hats like this in a couple of different colors, and I just recently got my stickers back. So let me know if you're interested. Leave a comment. My website will be going live this Friday, and you'll be able to order this stuff from my website. Well, here we go off into the BLM land. And for those of you who live in the western half of the United States, you are probably pretty familiar with what BLM is. That stands for Bureau of Land Management. And basically what that means is that it is public land. And you can camp on it. I do believe you can hunt on it. But at the very least, you can go out and ride on it. And it's open to all. So that's where we're going. We're going out on the BLM land. For those of you in other parts of the world or in the eastern part of the United States where there's less of that BLM or maybe no public land at all, I'm not sure. This might be a little foreign to you, but from not too far from my house here, you can literally, well, in fact, just one of the last videos I posted was a ride to Moab. Yeah, well, where we hit this Gunnison River Canyon, you could literally ride from there clear into Moab, Utah, with almost no exposure to public land. There's a lot of wide open country in the western half of the United States. And so we're going to get out and explore a little bit of that today. Some of this desert country out here is really cool because you get a lot of these outcroppings of rock. And you can tell this is a place where a lot of the kids and the people who like to camp come. You get these rock overhangs and things like this that provide a little bit of shelter. And you got to be careful of that too, because the animals like shelter as well. But it sure is pretty country. And I might be a little weird though. I like all kinds of country. If it's desert or mountains or whatever it is, the mountains is my favorite. But even areas like this, everything has its own kind of beauty. And the desert most definitely has its beauty as well. There's the Grand Mesa. We've been up on that just a few videos ago. Beautiful up there, all mountain country. Getting pretty rocky back in here. It's going to make me test my skills. I don't know how much of that I want to do today.
Woo, we made it. Didn't look like much on video, I know, but there's a bit of a bounce there. One thing I am learning about these heavy adventure bikes very quickly is that they require a certain amount of speed to be stable in the rough stuff. And not that this is real rough, but being that I'm new to riding a heavy off-road bike, it feels unnaturally fast for what I would want to do. This is getting rough. Yeah. I don't know whether or not the camera can do justice to what I'm riding through right now, but it's pretty unnerving for somebody who's not real experienced with a heavy bike and this stuff. Well, I got to an area that was beyond my riding skill to get through. On an ATV, which I ride out here most of the time, it probably wouldn't have been a big deal. But it was a little more than I was willing to take on, at least riding alone. So I'm going to have to go back down the hill and find another way around on this. Which is not a big deal. I would rather get there than not, because I wrecked and destroyed my bike, or worse, destroyed my body. I was recently talking to a guy about riding skills and adventure bikes, and we were just talking about skill levels and the kind of terrain that these bikes were capable of running on. And they are capable of running on ground that most people wouldn't want or feel comfortable running on. They're not always the ideal bike for it by any stretch, but if you want the Swiss Army knife of motorcycles that'll go anywhere provided you have the skill level, then the adventure bike is most definitely it. And that was kind of what I wanted. It's not too often I get out into stuff like this is here. This is just basically a tame Jeep trail is all I'm riding on at the moment. But one of the most important things about riding and really enjoying it is to know what your skill level is and not ride past that unless it's something that you're really wanting to do to try and push the limits. That's why they say, ride with those who are better than you. They'll push you a little bit, but they'll push you in a way that is different than pushing it when you're riding alone, because you're going to see them do something that you might not otherwise try on your own, but you're going to see how they do it and successfully accomplish it, and that's going to give you a benchmark to go on that you wouldn't have if you were riding alone. So as always, ride safe. Keep the rubber side down and know your limits. Know when to say when. Turn around and go back if the situation is really uncomfortable to you. And I don't ever make the claim that I'm any kind of a professional, especially in this off-road stuff. And probably the thing that will make you a better rider than the guy who's faster than you is the fact that you do know your limits. Because when he's crashed out and injured, you're still going to be enjoying the ride. Even though I haven't made it up there, this has really been kind of a good little run for me, because it's really testing my skills in some of the sandy stuff, which I'm not in right now, but there's been plenty of it that you guys have missed so far. So between some really rocky, chunky ground, a few steep spots, and some really soft dirt/sand, it's been an experience so far. It's good. I need to learn how to ride better in conditions like that. The other good thing about learning to ride in conditions like that is that it expands where I can go and have the capabilities to get there safe. Nothing comes to you overnight. Everything takes a little bit of practice. And between working in North Dakota and not being home a whole lot, the exposure to this kind of ground that I have is pretty limited. So even though this is in my backyard, I'm almost never home. But this is really good to get out and go for a nice, what the heck is today? Thursday morning jaunt before the heat sets in. Folks, we made it. I finally found a way up here. Man, look at that canyon. I know a little spot up the trail, which is where I was trying to get to earlier, where we can get a better look at this. But boy, it has been rough. I had the cameras off for part of it, and you can see all of this rock. I haven't looked at the video, obviously, as I'm still making it, so I don't know if it looks or does justice to what this ground is, but I would say I'm pretty pleased with myself for being able to ride through some of this stuff on a bike like this. For those of you who don't know, I'm riding a 2017 BMW GS adventure bike. And yes, I got a full load of fuel, so it's been a little top heavy. But it has been really good experience. I've pushed that front end through some sand and got to feel that a little bit. Been up over some pretty knobby rocks. Been through some real deep gravel. And been over a lot of granite bedrock. And so far I'm getting through it all right. Some of my old skills, I guess, must be still there. Though unpolished, they are present. There's kind of a knobby little overlook right out there. That's what we're trying to get to. I think the trail's pretty mild between here and there, if I remember right. A little sandy right through a couple of spots here. Makes that bike kind of wash around underneath you. And it's been my experience. Again, I'm no pro. I'm not teaching you anything here. But the best thing you can do when you get into stuff like that is not fight the bike. If it wants to wash to the left, just stay centered and on top of it. Wants to rush to the right, do the same thing. But the more you fight it, the more you're really just fighting yourself. You're trying to offset something that weighs probably 2-3 times what you weigh. And while we do that, riding motorcycles regularly, it is good to keep it to a minimum. You can have a safer, less frustrating, more successful, enjoyable ride by letting the bike work. Let that gyroscopic effect function for you. Oh, here's a little, ooh, I don't think I want to go that way. Ooh. Woo. Just about lost her there. And it ain't over yet. We'll see if I can get it going the right direction here. There's a guy named Brett on YouTube. I think it's Moto Trek. And he does a lot of teaching about riding in conditions like this. And he's been pretty valuable to me. So if you're like me, where you're newer at adventure bike riding on these heavy bikes, I don't know him, but I would say go check him out, because he's helped me a bunch. Woo, I got through it. Got me breathing though. Awesome. I love a little challenge. Isn't that why we ride? Woo. Almost did it again. This choppy, rocky stuff isn't easy. Clutch it, clutch it. Old dirt bike skills. Not that I was ever any good, but oh, folks, we did it. We got here. I had my doubts there for a while. We are here. So let me show you something amazing. The bike will stand up. There we go. Would you look at that? Make sure there's no snakes hanging out under these rocks. Absolutely beautiful. That is the Gunnison River Canyon. Now, a few days ago, if you look back in my videos, I have one called the Black Canyon. And that started from Blue Mesa Reservoir. And this is the Gunnison River that comes out of Blue Mesa Reservoir. It is also the same river that comes through the Black Canyon. So it really is scenic from one end to the other. When the Gunnison River here hits Grand Junction, it becomes the Colorado River. And the Colorado River comes from up on the I-70 side. Absolutely beautiful. Rugged, rugged country. I love it. Have you ever noticed how these BMWs, when you look at them, they look like they got a huge overbite with that beak? Kind of reminds me of a character from The Simpsons or something. Funny as that may be, I still think it's an awesome looking bike. And obviously has some pretty incredible capabilities, because I have never seen a bike like this out here. Mostly just dirt bikes. So maybe I'm just stupid, riding over my capabilities. Or maybe I just happen to be the only ADV bike guy in the immediate area that's coming out messing around. Straight out past where my finger is coming up there, that is Mount Garfield. And that's just on the other side of the city of Grand Junction. That whole flat top out there, that whole mountain, is what they call the Grand Mesa. When I looked it up on Wikipedia, it said that it is the largest flat top mountain in the world. Now, I've heard that said differently. I've heard it was number 2. But regardless, it's somewhere between 10,000 and 11,000 feet in elevation. And we just did that ride here a few days ago. Highway 50 runs off in the distance out here, in the bottom of the valley. And looking straight to the south, you look down towards the San Juan Mountains and the towns of Delta and Montrose. Okay, I would normally tell you that the GS is not a single track trail bike, yet here I am. In fact, this is just a cow trail. I'm not sure why I'm doing this, but I saw that retention pond out there and what looks like an easy access to the highway, and I want to, whoa, woo, steep sand, almost bailed. Wow. All right, see, I'm learning every minute, and you guys are getting to ride along with me, and I know you couldn't feel what I just felt. I don't know how much of it you could even tell by watching the video, but wow, this stuff is really soft. And anyway, I'm trying to get out to that retention pond so that I can get out to the highway and take you on the access road that goes down to the river that we were just looking down on. And it looks like I made it. Hopefully this isn't too soft here. Nope, not too bad. Ooh, some prairie dog holes in there though. Yeah, I think I'll get back to the 2-track. I thought it was going to go on the other side of that little berm. And there you have it, folks. That's the beauty of an adventure bike. You go out single tracking, dirt tracking, and then when we've had enough, we'll just get on the interstate, take the easy way home. Except that we're not going home, we're going to another turnoff. That will give us a nice easy dirt road though, and that's going to take us down to the river. This is called Bridgeport Road, Dominguez Escalante National Conservation Area. And this is the road off of Highway 50 that takes us down to the river. Let's go take a look. This kind of reminds me of portions of that Moab ride that I did just a couple days ago. It is beautiful coming down in here. That up there is the top of the canyon where we were at, but that's not the spot. It's way further down here. I'll kind of point it out to you when we get to the bottom here. And here we are at the bottom of the hill. There's hiking trails in here and horseback trails. Obviously some people stopped to check it out. Down here at the river, they run rafting trips that go from Delta, not Montrose, but just Delta to Grand Junction on the river. I would love to do that. That'd be a lot of fun. Boy, there is nobody here. I'm kind of surprised by that this morning. Well, there you have it, folks. It's the Gunnison River. And I just absolutely could not bring this video to an end until I accomplished two things. I wanted you down here at the water, and I wanted to show you that point right up there is where we were sitting looking down on it all. And all that greenery out there are those ranches that we saw from up top. And here we are, make a little hike back on the railroad tracks. I couldn't ride my bike right down to the water because they've got it blocked off, and I'm sure I probably could have fit through the gates, but again, it comes down to respecting the rules, and they'll keep this stuff open to us for always. Folks, I love making these videos for you. I love having the opportunity to share these experiences with you as I move around the country and just around the areas that I tend to be more local to. If you're enjoying these videos too, please leave me a comment. Hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up on it. Thanks for watching, folks.